Hello everyone, and welcome to the HRL IndyHog mid-season recap. So as you can see from the round count there, we're just entering the back half of the schedule here, so even though it's a little awkward with it being 15 rounds and there being triple crowns spread throughout, we'll just call this the mid-season point. And yeah, pretty crazy that we're already here. You know, for me, it feels like just yesterday finishing up the last episode for Road to IndyHog, and now here we are hitting the halfway point of the season already, and going into that 9th round already at the end of this week, which is it's just wild to me. Like, it's crazy how fast this goes. Anyways, let's get into the recap. Gonna try to set the stage here for the next couple weeks and also the rest of the season, although I will do a few more recaps probably before we get to the end. Yeah, so covering this week was Lafayette, Roman's first track of 2 that he has in the schedule, both of them being street tracks, this one being more of a roval. And the race definitely was a pit strategy race, mostly because this one was probably the hardest of the street tracks to pass on, I would say, so far. You could make up time on track and you could make moves, but it was pretty difficult. So I think that pit strategy and trying to find clean air that way was pretty important. And in the first moto, for myself, it was a pretty big advantage having the heat win and the pole with that clean air. So I take the win in the first moto. Slaunch takes second, Elite taking third, Detail and Hunter taking fourth and fifth. And then we go into the second moto where Slaunch has a really good start, makes a couple on-track passes, actually. I want to say at least 2, maybe even 3 early on. So a lot of really good passes early on, and then ran his pits very well from that point on too. Was able to get himself clean air and just make up time. And then by the time he took his last pit, he ended up exiting the pit with like a massive lead in first, considering the fact that he started from the back. I mean, it wasn't as crazy as the Moto 1 gap, but that's, again, because he was starting from last. So if you consider the fact that he started in last and that, Hunter started a little bit in the midfield, and then I think Vulcan was like pretty far up front, and, they were running high up there. So the fact that Slaunch came out as far as he did in front of them was pretty crazy. Like, it was an impressive gap there in a Moto 2, and he takes that gap all the way to the win. So Slaunch taking the win for Moto 2, Vulcan taking second, Hunter taking third, I took fourth, and Roman taking fifth. To go through the overall results, Slaunch taking the overall, of course, 2-1, very strong performance, pretty tough to beat there. So 32 points. Oh, and I should mention quickly, I did want to say this, Milwaukee Mile, very clean as far as the penalties go. And then same here for Lafayette, very clean with the penalties as well. Hopefully we can keep that up. Obviously, the first few races of the season, there's a few more handed out, and like people figuring out the rules, and a lot of it being like pit stuff, but a few on-track things as well. But the last like few weeks, and especially the last couple weeks, it's gotten a lot cleaner, and it's really nice to see that we're getting to that point where there's less penalties. So hopefully that continues for the rest of the season. So yeah, thumbs up to the field for that. Like to see that. Hopefully that continues again. Okay, so yeah, so getting back to the overall results, so yeah, Slaunch 32, I took second with 30, Hunter takes third with 26. That's a very big performance from Hunter, his first top 3 overall on the season, and taking a podium in a top 5 as well, very good for him. And then Detail, Elite, Vulcan in a 3-way tie, 23 points apiece, 4th, 5th, and 6th. Soul and Roman, 22 points, so they're right there. I mean, yeah, like half the field basically ran like the same points as each other, so they're all grouped up there. And then Camby was 16 and Matt with 15, rounding it out. So not going to be too many huge points moves with so many people finishing like right there with each other, but obviously Slaunch, myself, and Hunter get some gains. So next up, of course, take a look at the points. Just taking a look here, they look like I've got the lead with 273, 21 points over Detail with 252. Slaunch closes that gap in a bit with a really nice weekend at Lafayette. So he's 8 points off of Detail now, 29 points off the lead, third in points. Roman a bit further back, 219 points for Roman, 54 points back in the lead for him. 214 for Soul, who's in fifth, and Soul still very close with Roman, only 5 points off of him. And then we got Camby in 6th with 197. He's got a little bit of a gap to go. Those lagouts are really hurting him. If it weren't for the lagouts, Camby, I could honestly see Camby being like right there with Roman and Soul. He might be leading that group, honestly. Like, The lagouts have cost him so many positions. I wouldn't be surprised if he would be in the mid. He would at least be in the middle of it. He may even be leading it, so that's pretty unfortunate. But he's just got to try to stick in there and do what he can. So yeah, so that's Cammy's spot. And then Hunter, obviously the pretty nice gain here. He's got a nice spot in the points where he's trying to catch up to Camby, but he's got a little bit to go. He's got a bit of a breathing room from Armada and Coop and Matt behind. So Hunter at 163. And then Armada, 115. Coop and Matt, 92 for Coop, 91 for Matt. Nice 1 point separation. Vulcan coming back this week, getting some points there, 73 for him. And then Opix, 12th with 58. Elite starting to join up, has done 2 weekends now, and 49 points. 49 points for 2 rounds ran is really strong. So obviously Elite has missed so much, even with mulligans. He's not going to be able to have a full season, but he can get close to it. And if he keeps putting in performance like he has been, he could still get a pretty decent result. Honestly, he's been very good so far. And then D-Mills with 34. Need him to wake up. So yeah, that's the run through of all the points positions. And yeah, basically the thing that I would say here is just keep in mind the mulligans. We're going to have quite a few mulligans as this season has a lot of motos. I haven't 100% decided on the number yet. I'm thinking 10, but we'll see. But yeah, there's going to be quite a few mulligans coming in, so always keep that in mind. And maybe we'll start factoring those into the points. Maybe not after next week, but maybe the week after that we'll start factoring them in so we can get a more, accurate look of what the points battles are looking like, and give people that information, because I always think that's pretty important as we get closer to the end of the season. But yeah, just keep that in mind, because this is a really long schedule. There's a lot more mulligans, so the points battles do look a certain way now, but I think the points in general are a lot closer than they appear once you factor those in. There's still going to be gaps for sure, but I do think, like right now, without the mulligans, it looks like super separated throughout a lot of it, with the exception of a few close battles. But I think everything would tighten up a little bit once those are factored in. So yeah, keep that in mind, and maybe not after next week, but again, maybe the week after that, try to start factoring them in and, get a look at what the points are looking like when we're getting that close to the end of the season with those factored in. So just keep that in mind. And taking a look at the category points, which this will have, because I think I did it with Reach with a few mulligans. I think we'll do some mulligans with these too. So these aren't 100% accurate, and probably won't worry about like calculating these until the very end of the season. But just to look at these, and very close for the oval. Oval's super close for the lead right now, just a point separating myself and Detail. Road is pretty close between myself, Detail, and Slaunch. We're all pretty grouped up there. And then Street have got a pretty good advantage going into the last street race, but with the mulligans that could make it a bit closer. And the Triple Crown one, I've got a pretty nice advantage there too, but it's another thing with the mulligans where it could mix up. And then also there's 2 Triple Crowns left, and that's a lot of racing. 2 Triple Crowns left is a lot of racing. 6 motos, so there's still a lot of room for things to mix up there, the Triple Crown Championship as well. So that's the look at the category championships. And again, there'll be slight mulligans for these as well, so that's a little bit hard to calculate right now. But again, once they are calculated, it'll probably close these in a little bit too, which is exciting because they're already pretty close. I mean, the oval one's like literally a point. Yeah, just another thing to look at. So there you go. There's the update with all the point standings and stuff. Let's take a look at the schedule now. Okay, so taking a look at the schedule. As you can see, next week is our last October race, and I'm very excited. I was looking forward to the October portion of the schedule for ever since the season started, and so far I've really been enjoying it. I think it's been pretty fun, but I do think we get potentially the best track, potentially could put on the best race here at the end of it with Watkins Glen. I'm really proud of this track. This is one that I worked on. I was actually planning on working on this for a different series in the future, but then it could work with IndyHog once we started doing some older Indy tracks and throwing them in the schedule. It could work with IndyHog, and I was like, you know what? Why not? Why not just throw Watkins Glen in there? I was already making it anyways, and it was Mid-Ohio. I like Mid-Ohio as well. That's what the track was supposed to be. I like that track as well. but I was already done with Watkins Glen, and it was already like pretty solid, and I was already really happy with it. So it's kind of a thing where like, okay, you know, work smarter, not harder here. Like it works anyways. Just throw it in there, and I already like it. It might end up being better than what my Mid Ohio would have been anyways. So threw it in. That is this week. That is this Friday, and I'm really excited for it. I think it could potentially be the best road course in the season. We'll see. Honestly, all the road courses are pretty strong, so it's hard to say. But I think this one could put on the best race. I'll just put it that way. I think this one could put on the best race. Like, I think all the road courses are good, but I think this one has maybe the best potential to have the best, like, on-track, back-and-forth battles and stuff like that. And that stuff's always really fun to watch. So it's a really fun track to just, like, hot lap on. It's a really fun track to battle on. And I think it'll be a really fun race to close out October. And yeah, definitely don't want to miss this one. I think this track's really solid, so looking forward to that. And then looking ahead there, we've got November. Now in November, we have 3 races. I did do that week off for the Thanksgiving weekend, especially because it's such a long season as well. I thought a week off wasn't like a terrible idea. With it being such a long season, put it with the holiday, like that was a decent idea. So only 3 races in November. And to make up for that a little bit, the first one is a Triple Crown. Iowa is a Triple Crown. So first of Opix's ovals. We get both of Opix's ovals within a span of a couple weeks here in November. So that'll be interesting. But yeah, so Watkins Glen next week, and then November is Iowa Triple Crown, and then Portland, that track that I've had done forever, and then Opix's other oval with Pocono will be our last race in November. So yeah, interesting that we have both of those lined up in that month. And then the week off, and then we'll get to Toronto, Roman's final track in the schedule, final street track, Gateway, and Laguna Seca. Gateway, Slaunch, Laguna Seca details track. So yeah, a lot of the variety coming out here at the end of the season. Really good Forger variety there, so that's nice to see too. But yeah, so those are the final races. That's what the rest of the season's looking like now that we're officially like on the back half of the schedule. We've got 3 road courses, we've got 3 ovals, and we've got 1 street track remaining. That is what we have left, and that is going to decide the championship and the final points positions in this last month and a half span that we've got left here, month and a half to 2 month span. So it should be pretty exciting. I gotta say, it's been fun so far. I've been enjoying, don't want to do every season like this, but I think it's kind of cool for us to do like a longer schedule like this for the first time in a while, to have a season that spans, 3 months, couple weeks, like something of that length. I think that's pretty cool. I like the season length that we've been doing, but we've been doing that for quite a while since we came back. So having like a switch up with IndyHog being a little bit longer is kind of nice, I think, and a cool way to end out the year. So yeah, it's been fun so far, and thanks everyone for showing up and doing the races and stuff, and looking forward to how it ends, because I've still got some of my most anticipated tracks on the schedule here to close it out. So anyways, that's going to do it for the recap. There's your schedule preview for the coming weeks. Went over the results. Did a little look at the points again as well. Did all that stuff. So hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope it was informative. Again, congrats to Slaunch on this performance this past week for taking the unfortunate with I think he had an out of box at Road America, so he could have had it there. That out of box penalty costed him, but the penalties have been really clean the past couple weeks. People have been cleaning it up, and nothing like that here at Lafayette. Takes his first overall in the season, and shout out to Hunter taking his first top 3 overall as well. Nice to see some good variety and like shakeups as well in the overall, in the overall category as well throughout the season. That's always nice to see. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't miss Watkins Glen, because again, I really do think this is going to be, I think it has potential to be one of the best battle tracks of the season. So it should be a fun race, and hope we see you guys there. And yeah, I'll see ya.